Hello, and a big welcome to you out there who are listening and seeing this podcast. Today we have a special guest. That's Kasey Reeder. Welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
So nice to have you here. And I see you have a skeleton in the background. I just saw that. That's
Say
great.
hi, Eddie.
Yeah, hello. So please tell us who you are and what you're doing with horses.
Okay, great. Well, again, my name is Kasey, and I have earned the title the rider's mechanic. Basically, where my passion lies is in helping riders unlock their full potential and achieve greater harmony with their horses.
Okay.
Um, Through a comprehensive approach that integrates rider biomechanics, body awareness, and holistic training, I've seen incredible results in the riders that I've worked with, which has been fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
it's truly rewarding, and I'm really looking forward to sharing a little bit of insights with you on how I can benefit riders
Yeah.
because we all ride.
How are you doing this? Because I have interviewed a lot of people and they all have a special way. So maybe you also have some special things to share.
I just take a holistic approach.
Yeah.
So, so the rider training emphasizes a comprehensive development of riders that goes beyond just the technical skills. Holistic riding recognizes that effective riding goes well beyond just the physicality. You've got the mental side of it, you've got the emotional side of it, um, and your own well-being. Um, by adopting this holistic approach, riders can achieve great results, build stronger partnerships with their horses, and enjoy a greater overall well-being, health-wise in their own bodies.
Yeah. And how do you do that? Do you teach them mental things or is it physical or how are you doing this?
So it's actually a combination of a few different things. It's rider biomechanics, it's the rider's training scale, which is a structured framework used to systematically develop the skills and abilities of the rider. Bodywork and rehabilitation, mental and emotional wellness, because we all know that's important. And what was the other one I was looking for? Rider fitness and conditioning.
Hmm.
So tackling riding from those aspects and combining all of those helps me to develop a rider, as a whole, encompassing all of the different elements of riding, not just put your heels down, keep your hands up, sit up tall.
Oh.
It goes way beyond that.
Are you working with the students on ground as well, or how is
I
it?
do.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens when people come to see me is I watch them ride and I kind of take a back seat. I tell them to imagine that I'm not here
Mm.
and just go about doing whatever you do at home. And I watch them. I watch the horse and his reactions to the rider, and I watch the rider doing what he or she may be doing. And then I start to get a picture in my mind as to what things are working well and what things need a little bit of help. So more times than not, and I know people hate to hear this, but more times than not, it's the rider's fault.
Mm.
The rider is doing something up there on the horse's back that the horse is then, what's the word I'm looking for, translates that into what they think you want. And so there happens to be a lot of miscommunication, I find,
Mm.
in riders with their horses. And I try to take that out of the equation and get the horse and rider on the same page, talking the same language, and always having that ongoing dialogue while they ride.
Yeah. So you are also doing mental things. Are you talking to them, or do you have a program or something they are going through?
So I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I've been at this sport for 40 years and I've learned a lot. And when it comes to the mental side, I feel like that's where many riders need help because they just get too frazzled, they get too caught up in their own mind, and then everything falls apart.
Yeah.
So, what I try to do is mentally, gear them with tools like imagery and learning about proprioception, which is knowing where your body parts are at all times. Body awareness, just there's so many things that start up here that then translate down into your body. So it has to start here. And then we can work on getting the mind body connection going and going well. And when you get that going well, you can ride well.
Mhm. Yeah, and do people have their own horses with them, or do you have kind of riding school, or how is
I
it?
don't have a riding school. I actually work with horses and riders one on one
Okay.
because I feel, I bring so much to the table that I kind of just want them to myself because we can cover a lot of ground and get a lot done, in an hour or so. But going back to watching them ride, a lot of times I find that there are asymmetries in the rider's body, which is causing miscommunication between them and their horse. Now, sometimes I can fix these asymmetries in the saddle if they're not too bad. But other times it's actually the function of the body that is not working. And so what I'll do is I'll take the rider off of the horse, have my massage table right there at the arena, put them on my table, do some manual therapy and try to correct the asymmetry, and then put them back on the horse for them to feel the difference.
Hmm.
So, and I usually get a lot of aha moments because it's the body that fails us many times.
Yeah, it is. You can ride a lot and feel, yeah, but I'm sitting right, but when you look in the mirror, you are not, because your
Right.
body is not equal in both sides.
Right. Yeah. So that's pretty much what you'll see me do. I come into the arena, I watch the rider ride, I see where the miscommunication is, and whether that is through getting their bodies or their minds in the right place. Then we can take that next step forward and say, okay, now do this. If you don't mind, I kind of would like to share with you a little bit of my background because it may help clarify some things. Would
Please,
that be all right?
please do. Yes, please do.
I'm sorry, say again.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I started riding when I was very young. I grew up in Ohio. My great grandmother had a farm, and that's where I first sat on a horse when I was 4. And of course, like every horse loving girl, it was nothing but horses after that. And I rode when I could. And one day I came home and boasted to my mother that I could ride. And she said, "Oh, yeah, let's see." So she took me to an uncle's farm. She put me on a horse and I rode around for a while. I walked, I trot, I cantered. I thought I did pretty good. And then I came over to the fence where she was sitting. I said, "Well, what do you think?" And she said, her exact words were, "Oh, honey, you can't ride. We'll find you some riding lessons." So off I went to riding lessons and I started to compete at an early age in both English and Western events. Ended up being on my collegiate equestrian team. And then I came across a rider in about 2009 that rocked my world. I thought I was doing pretty good as far as teaching goes. There was a whole world that I needed to be introduced to become that great teacher that I wanted to be. And this woman showed me. She came in, she got on a horse, she started riding around, and she was very asymmetrical. She had this twist in her body as she would do her posting or her rising trot. And I thought to myself, oh gosh, I don't know what to do about that. Like, I have no answers for that. And that bugged me. So I did some research and I figured out very quickly that I needed to know a lot more about the human body, anatomy, physiology, kinesiology, how the body moves. So I went back to school and became a licensed massage therapist. And from that point on, I got a hold of every athlete, hopefully rider, that I could find to work on. And I started to get the sense that I could take this and help riders unlock a lot of the frustration that they feel when they can't get something accomplished on their horse. Because I'm telling you, Anne, bottom line, most of it comes down to your body and what's going on within your body. So if I can help them overcome that, I open up a whole new world for them as far as development and getting better. They don't get stuck on a plateau. They just keep getting better and better. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine it's good for the horse as well because they don't get frustrated. They can
They don't get
see.
frustrated. They understand. They don't get sore. So many riders take the time and the money to have body work performed on their horses, thinking that that's the best way to go. And I totally agree. I mean, I do body work for my horses too. But here's the kicker: I only do it probably a couple of times a year, and that's it. The rest of the time, I'm working on me. I'm making sure that my body is in the right space, the right frame, the right posture when I'm riding so that I don't interfere with the horse and cause him issues. So it's not only a communication, but it's also, the health of the horse. We spend so much time training horses. It
Yeah.
takes so much time and so much patience. And at the end of that, you want to have something that will last and not be broken down at 15 or 20. I mean, I've seen some really great horses that have had great training go up 25 into almost their 30-year range and still being ridden,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So the rider really just has a lot to offer the horse if they know where to look, if they within their body. We can
Mm.
get that body working just like it should, and then that translates into their everyday life, right? You feel healthier, you feel better, you have more energy, your body
Oh,
works
yeah.
better as far as internal organs. So not only is your riding getting better, but your health is getting better,
Yeah.
right?
Your everyday life. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So for how long have you been doing this?
The body work in conjunction with the instruction
Yes.
since 2012,
Okay. Mm.
so 12 years. So I still feel like I'm sort of new at it because I haven't been doing it my whole life like I've done riding horses. But it's fascinating to learn about the human body.
Mhm.
It really is. When I was in school, I almost every day I thought I could use that. I could use that in riding, as far as teaching to really help my riders really understand their bodies and how to use it effectively on the horse. And like we said, at the same time, allowing the horse to move well, not feel pain, happy, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Do you have any good story about somebody who is coming and thinking that my horse is not good enough for me or something like that?
Yeah, actually, I've had a couple of riders who thought maybe they bought the wrong horse.
Mm.
Hmm. And I said, well, let's take a look, because I'm pretty good at pinpointing whether horse and rider are a good match or not. And what I found was that the rider just was missing a few elements in her rider training. But there were a few things that if she had those skills, she could ride this horse. And that's a lot of what I really try to instill in my riders is you are the trainer. You are the trainer who rides the horse every day. So you have to be in good physical condition, in good mental condition, know what you need to do, know what you need to get out of your body to be effective in your riding. And yeah, that just, it takes a little while.
Mhm. How did they how did they take that with a good
Yes,
mind or
with a
yeah.
great attitude. They said
Mhm.
basically, what can I do? What can you
Mhm.
teach me? How do I navigate this so that I can keep this horse because I really like him.
Yeah.
Um, and so we prepare a plan. I always, with every rider, I sketch out an entire detailed plan of everything that we're going to accomplish, all the goals, everything we need to do to get there to accomplish those goals. And so with one particular rider, we sat down right away and spoke for about an hour. And I said, okay, here's where you need to be, and here's how we're going to get there. She's like, fantastic, I'm on board.
Mhm.
And she's done great things. Her test results, her dressage test results got better. The communication with her horse got immensely better.
Mhm.
She was very happy about that. Um, and so, communication is everything, right? I mean, imagine being in a foreign world, not being able to communicate with anybody.
Mhm.
It's just a lonely, frustrating place to be.
Yeah.
And so when you can really understand your horse and understand what he understands as far as body language, and you guys can get on the same page, there is nothing you can't do.
Well, that's right. That's right. And yeah, it is better for the horse and better for the rider. And I often hear this that yeah, but the horses uh, you have to tell the horse what to do and so on. But I think that if you can communicate, it's in a whole other world.
It is. So that's a great point. Many riders are taught that they're the boss
Mm,
and that they make all of the decisions, and the horse just has to sit there and listen.
mm,
That's not how I approach my riding at all. I take it as it's a partnership. And when you have a partner, you have to be able to communicate
mm,
or you don't get anything done. It's just that simple. And in order to communicate well, you have to have a body that is in tune, just like a good instrument, right?
yeah.
If not, the communication is not going to be there and you're going to get frustrated all day long with why you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish. And that's why, I tell my riders, I'm like, you got to spend some time on yourself. You can't just spend all of the money and time on your horse because you are a big part of the picture as far as what the end result becomes.
Mm,
So if you don't take care of yourself and you don't, mentally and physically, then your horse is going to suffer. It's
mm,
just that simple.
that's right. Do you have a, is it a Western rider or English riding or both or
I do both.
yeah?
To me, good horsemanship is good horsemanship. It
Mm,
doesn't matter what saddle you wear or have on your horse. It doesn't matter what kind of clothes you wear. A good horseman is a good horseman. So my approach to riding is a foundation for all riding. Just as dressage is the foundation for all good riding, my approach includes classical dressage in addition to the rider biomechanics and the rider's training scale to make a complete rider.
Yeah, how many students do you have weekly?
I only have about 20 right now, and that is fine. I would love more, but the 20 keep me pretty busy because I'm always available to my students. Anytime they have questions regarding anything, their own health, their horses, whatever it may be, I'm on call. I'm there for my students as much as I can be, because this is a long, slow process that you have to be very patient. None of this comes quickly. So I always like to, make sure that I'm there for my students.
Yeah, but you have to take care of yourself as well. So
And I do. I make
that's
sure
good.
that I take care of myself because I can't obviously preach what I don't practice.
Oh, that's right.
I have my own body worker that I see. I have my own chiropractor. I have a team
Okay.
of doctors that I go to because I can't adjust myself.
No.
And so you need somebody else. So I do have a team, my own team that I work closely with to keep my body in check, especially now that I'm getting older and
Yeah.
I've ridden for so long. Some of those old arthritic bones are starting to show up.
Mm.
So
Yeah, it's a hard life for equestrians.
it is.
Mm. Yeah. So anything more you wanted to tell us about?
Whoa, let's see. No, actually, that pretty much sums it all up. I'm pretty much a hybrid coach that specializes in rider development and rider horse communication.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
it.
great.
And I bring a lot of different tools to the table in order to help you become the best rider you can be.
Mhm. Is it all that you are speaking to the students, or do you have uh, something online or a book or something you give them to read? Or yeah,
I chuckle because I've had several people bug me for the past couple of years to write a book.
yeah,
But a book is very, well, time consuming. So I have
yeah.
started, and I'm hoping to complete it sometime maybe next year once I get all the edits done and all that kind of good stuff.
Mhm.
But um, no, I don't have a book. I don't have any audio. What I do supply is just my Facebook page, and of course all my pertinent information. If you want to call me, call me. I'm better at that than I am emails.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah. Um, and so I will make myself available to students who reach out. I also do online instruction. So
Yeah.
for those writers who are not local to me, I can help them with our wonderful technology.
Mhm. That's great.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. 20 years ago, I would have never thought you would take virtual lessons or do virtual shows.
No. It's not that many years ago we couldn't do what we are doing right now. So
Exactly.
it's yeah, really great with that technology. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to write for you and want your help?
They can get a hold of me. My email address is Kasey at theridersmechanic.com. I'm on Facebook, The Riders Mechanic, and my phone number is on my website if you would love to reach out and chat.
Yeah, that sounds great. So how long time? You said it takes a long time. It takes a whole life to learn to ride, but how long time will it take you to adjust a rider like that?
Hmm, that's a good question. It really depends on how bad
Yeah, of
they are,
course. Yeah.
right? So some, like I said, some things I can fix right in the saddle. Some asymmetries I can ask them to make a shift somewhere in their body, um, to get the symmetry back. But other times, like I said, being on the table, um, most of the time I can get good quality work within the first session, at
Hmm.
least enough for the rider to feel the difference and basically understand where we're going with all of this. Most of my riders, when they get the body work, they get back on the horse and they say, oh my gosh, I want more of that.
Yeah.
Right. Because the difference is immediate. You get that immediate response, um, from your body. So sometimes it's just one session. Sometimes it's a few sessions. It just depends really on the person and how bad things have gotten, because I
Yeah.
can't work miracles. I wish I could, but I can't.
Sounds like you can.
Thanks.
Yeah, because as you said, most of the people they train the horses, they are not thinking that much on themselves.
Right. Yeah, we get so caught up into what's going on underneath of us that we
Mm.
forget our own bodies.
Yeah.
And, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. You tune in more to your horse and you tune out of yourself less. And it just drives your frustration of going, I'm trying my eyeballs out and I can't seem to understand why I'm getting this result. Right.
Mm.
So that's why I say I love, love, love the aha moments where the writer says, oh, my body was interfering. Maybe it was my psoas muscle, or maybe it was one of my adductor muscles, which are the inside of your leg, inside of your thigh muscles. I never knew I had such a muscle. I never knew I could use it. I didn't know what it was for. And so when they learn all of this stuff, they get super excited.
Yeah.
And then the horse automatically says, oh yeah, that's
Oh,
it. And
yeah.
they start giving you, it's just like a switch, and then they start giving you the better results. And so again, the writers are looking at me going, this is fantastic,
Yeah.
right? And I say,
Uh,
yeah, it's amazing what the body can do.
yeah. And of course, when you have that feeling, you want more and more and more.
Mhm. And that's the thing. I can talk all day about how I can, help riders with their bodies and how that affects the horse and blah, blah, blah. And, people start to tune out because you mentioned the word rider biomechanics, and then they're like, oh geez.
Mm.
Right. But, but really, when it comes down to it, riding is all about your body and how you use it,
Mm.
period.
Yeah.
So if you get up there and you're a statue because you can't move, because you have no flexibility, no suppleness in your own body,
Mm.
you can't possibly do what it is you want to do, because your body will say, I can't move that way. I can't stretch that far.
And the
I
horse
can't.
as well.
And the horse as well. The
Yes.
horse says, what you doing up there?
Mm.
Which again goes back to the loss of communication and then the frustration. And I mean, just think, if you could verbally communicate with your horse. You see, we're not good at body language,
No.
humans, anymore.
No.
We've really gotten away from expressing ourselves with our bodies, right? And so we do a lot of this.
Mm.
If we could talk to our horses and tell them exactly in detail what we wanted them to do, life would be easy and everybody would ride.
Mm.
But the hard part is the communication of
Mm.
getting one on one, getting on the same page with your partner so that things flow.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And yeah, you have said it all, or you have more to share with us before we wrap it up? Or
Oh, no, we can wrap it up. I don't have really anything to add other than if you're interested, if any of your listeners are interested, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you.
sounds great. And with camera and everything, you can be in on the other side of the world, like we are now.
Yes,
Mm.
like we are now. What time is
Yeah.
it in Belgium? Or I'm sorry, you're in Hungary.
Hungary, yeah, it's 5:30 p.m. So yeah, there's a little time difference there. So thank you so much for being here today. That was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
and an eye opener as well. So very nice to meet you. And thank you, all of you out there who have been listening and seeing this. And please subscribe so we can continue every week to have a new person here with us. And if you wanted to uh, be in our membership group, you are very welcome in Happy Horse Hub. So thank you so much. And thank you, Kasey, for being here today. It
Thank
was
you,
a
Anne.
pleasure.
I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.